Welcome all viewers. Myself, Dr. Dipankar Rai, is now going to discuss a very interesting topic of Python, that is immutable data type. I shall discuss it using tuple. A immutable data type means it cannot be modified. In Python, integer, float, tuple, set, string, bytes are example of immutable data types, whereas list, dictionary are example of mutable data types. Like R, Python also supports immutable data type, but in R, immutable data types are much more complex than Python. If a immutable data type is a list or a series of elements, you cannot add an element into that list or remove or replace an element from the list. Now onwards I shall discuss on the tuple because it has some very interesting features. I shall discuss how to create tuple, what are its plus points, how to make a immutable tuple to mutable, and how to implement that mutability. In tuple and list are almost same, but tuple is immutable whereas list is mutable. Tuple can be created in many ways. First of all, one should use first bracket to create a tuple, or without in bracket also it can be created. First example, the contains 3 elements, Arun 28, New Delhi, and next element without bracket it contains again 3 elements, Bharati 25, Agra. A tuple can contain only one element also, but in that case that element must be followed by comma, otherwise it will consider that element as its basic data type. For example, here 25 comma is a tuple, whereas 25 only is the integer and Arjun only is again a string. Tuple can be created using tuple function. Use of this tuple function is to convert list or dictionary to tuple. Here I have converted a list 1, 2, 3 to tuple using tuple function. Since tuple is an ordered list, it can be accessed with its indices. So in this example, tuple 1, Arun 28, New Delhi, the first element can be accessed with 0 and third element can be accessed with 2 or last element can be accessed with -1. Since tuple is immutable, so it cannot be modified. You cannot modify any element. For example, if I want to modify the last element, that is Agra, with Kanpur, it will show tuple object does not support item assignments. Since tuple is immutable, very few functions are there. Del function is used to delete a tuple. Len function is used to get the length of a tuple. If my tuple I have used here, where 7 elements are there, it will return 7. Count function is used to count the elements. So here P will display 2 because 2 occurrences of P is there, and index location will return the first occurrence of an element. In P it will show 2 only because it is the third element. Tuple elements can be extracted using unpack option also. If I write variables on the left side of the equal to sign, it will assign on the unpacked variable onto that variable lists. For example, if my tuple is a tuple containing 6 elements 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I write 3 variables on the left side of the equal to with item first, star item between, and item last, that star item between will contain a list, and first item will contain the first element, last item will contain the last element, and star item between variable will contain the rest. So it will contain 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when to use tuple? Tuple has very interesting features, that is, it takes less space than a list. It takes less amount of time to process, and most importantly, it maintains data security within a program. So when the dataset size is very big, so one can use tuple instead of list because it takes less space and less amount of time to process. For example, if 2 variables are there, one list and one tuple containing same elements, here I have used 0, 1, 2, hello true, and then I have checked the space in terms of bytes of both list and tuple using get size of function of sys. The list is showing 104 bytes, whereas tuple is showing 88 bytes. Similarly, I have tested the time taken by a list and tuple of same size, same element, same amount of time iteration. Here the list contains 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. List and tuple also contain 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have iterated over it 1 million times. List is showing 0.7 second, whereas tuple is showing 0.1 second. So nearly 120% faster tuple. Another very important and interesting feature of tuple is function, because function of Python returns only one value. Using tuple, one can send to the calling program multiple values. Here I have shown an example where sort 3 elements is used to sort ABC and return a descending order of list. So I have used tuple ABC to return these 3 values. And these 3 values can be assigned to the left hand side of the equal to sign, ABC, or any XYZ value. So that main program can contain that ABC value for further use. Now, how to make a tuple mutable? Since tuple is immutable, it cannot be modified directly. So first you have to convert it to list or array, then you can modify it. So I have used here list because tuple 1 contains heterogeneous elements. So list will transfer it to a list. Then I modify that list according to its index. So first element Orun I have modified with 0 index and replace it by Borun. Then again that list I have converted back to tuple. So tuple 1 again contain Borun, 28 and New Delhi, and it will remain as a tuple. If a tuple contains integers, then I can use array of numpy and modify that array accordingly. But it has some problem. Problem is that tuple is immutable and it maintains data security. But this will violate that basic characteristic of tuple. To overcome this problem, we can use a function outside the body of the program. Here I have written a replace tuple elements with 3 elements tuple, the element by which we want to modify it, and its index location. First I have modified it to a list by list function, then modify the index location with x, and then again return back that list to tuple. So for tuple 1, if I want to change Orun by Borun with this function, it will return Borun 28 New Delhi, and again tuple 1 will remain as a tuple. So by this way I can maintain the data sanctity of the main body of the code. I think you have got the idea. Thank you. Here is my mail address. So if you have some suggestion, you can send me that suggestion to this mail address. Don't forget to subscribe and like the presentation. That will encourage me to upload new topics. Thank you.